Welcome to episode 4 of Anime Territory. I'll be your host this week, Johnny Ruhal, and with me, as always, is the Shabby Dog himself, Benjamin Shabing.
I like that one, Shabby Dog.
Yeah. Well, we've got so many Bens in our life that we had to come up with some sort of nickname.
Did you ever watch that movie?
I think so. That was Tim Allen was a dad turned into a dog.
Yeah.
It was the Shaggy Dog.
Yeah.
But you're the Shabby Dog.
Yeah. Never seen it.
I think for the longest time, you're in my phone as Shab Dog. But,
well, yeah, I went by Shab Dog, but never Shabby Dog.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm just the Shabby Dog. I had to do something. I don't know. I gotta give you a weird intro every time. Otherwise, what's the point of this whole podcast?
Watching anime.
I guess. That's like a secondary point.
Well, that's my main point.
My main point is talking with my best friend and having fun with him.
He's not here right now.
What are you talking about? You're right in front of me.
Oh, you're talking about me.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the other guy.
That, to be fair, there is another guy who's a close contender, but you're right. He's not here. So on today's episode, we watched the first 3 episodes of WorldEnd. What are you doing at the end of the world? Are you busy? Will you save us? We watched all of Rail Wars, and we'll go into detail about that. And then last week we started my top 10 list. This week we're going to look at the Ben top 10 with your number 10 pick. So let's get right into WorldEnd here.
Okay.
So you always pick the shows, or you give me a list of things to pick.
Yeah, I gave you a couple options this week. But
it's basically the opposite of how we normally pick the regular show, where I give you a list of stuff I've seen or want to see, and you pick it. For this segment, you pull out a list of ridiculous stuff, and I get to pick whichever one I think will be funnier. Or whichever one I've not seen before. Because I've seen a lot of stuff. I feel like one of these days you're going to pick something I've seen, and I'm just not going to tell you. So you want to give us like a breakdown of what the first 3 episodes, what you think the show is about after 3 episodes?
So, this show is a little weird. It's a fantasy world where everybody lives on like islands in the sky, and there are no humans.
No humans. They died 500 years ago?
500 years ago from some beasts that they unleashed themselves. And then there's like a derogatory word they have for humans.
Yeah, I kept seeing it, but it was like... It's like it's 10 letters long. I'm like, I'm
trying to see if it was like a...
Nimnet or something.
Yeah.
It was not an anagram of human. That was for sure.
Yeah.
If that's what you were trying to find, it was not.
Yeah, but anyways, this world, you start out and you actually meet this dude who looks like a human and a girl who looks like a human. And then they like navigate through this weird city to this one tower, I guess. And then... It's a weird opening.
Yeah, it's not... They don't have an opening song in the first episode. Instead, it's like this montage where they play a Simon and Garfunkel song. Or a cover of a Simon and Garfunkel song, Scarberry Fair. And it's like, all right, I guess that's what this is. I liked it. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, that's a cool song. That's a nice song. I like that montage. It's just, it's like, what's going on here?
I feel like I missed part of the montage because I'm like, I know this song. What is this song called? So I was Googling it.
No, it's a very cute opening, but you're just like, okay, this is weird.
Yeah.
But whatever.
It's like the one Simon Garfunkel song I've ever heard. Or know that I've heard. Nothing against Simon Garfunkel.
Well,
it's just...
You never heard of Sound of Silence?
Maybe.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Okay, that's
Simon Garfunkel.
See, that's how little I know about Simon and Garfunkel. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, you hear a bunch of songs on the radio, but do you know every single artist that does that? Like, do you know the song that does "Money for Nothing"?
Money for Nothing.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
That's the song where they're like, "You got to move those refrigerators. You got to move them color TVs."
That's on the radio?
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
The Weird Al Yankovic has got a Beverly Hillbillies cover of it where it's about the Beverly Hillbillies.
No.
Well, I used to deliver appliances, so when that would come on, Like, that'd be our theme song. It's like, yeah, we do have to move those refrigerators. We do have to move those color TVs to people's houses. It's Dire... Is it Dire Straits? I think it's Dire Straits who does that.
Never heard of them.
Anyway, just one of those songs where it's like, okay, one of those artists where you're like, yeah, I've heard of them, obviously. Can I list their songs? No. Have I heard a bunch of their songs? Probably. Because it's just before our time, but very prevalent, but not prevalent enough.
Isn't it prevalent?
Prevalent. I think you can say either one. Tomato, potato, both the same word.
Yep.
Both things I won't eat.
Yep. Okay.
That's not true. I'll eat like fries and stuff. Mashed potatoes sometimes.
Those are tomatoes.
Those are tomatoes. Mashed tomatoes. I would like some mashed tomatoes. What?
People eat
Do
that.
you mean
It's called ketchup.
do you eat marinara sauce? I guess I do eat both of those things, but not straight, obviously, because I am a weird freak person. It's weird how
You're not weird for not eating ketchup straight up. That's not weird.
Well, I don't eat ketchup at all, though.
That's true. That's a little weird.
Again, a weird freak. It's a wonder I'm still alive at 26.
Yeah. Anyways, back to the show.
Yeah. Back to the show.
So we get that montage, and then basically the dude gets a job for the military, watching a weapons warehouse.
Yep.
So we do that, and then we get to the warehouse, and it's just like this nice mansion with a bunch of little girls in it. So we're just like, what's going on here?
Yep. Including
the girl who we have in the opening montage is there as well.
Who is, I should state, still a young girl, but 15. And
Yeah.
Most of them are like 6 or something.
Yeah.
Of various ages.
Yeah, but he gets there. He's like, what's going on here? They do a little bit of whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then the obvious happens. It's that the girls in that that mansion are the weapons.
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum. That's like the end
it took the main character too long to figure that out.
Yeah.
It's like, how's that not obvious?
Yeah.
But I guess that's just outside story's perspective. Of course that's obvious because that's a trope. It's not.
Yeah, but anyways, then we kind of learn exactly what's going on, how they're weapons. They're basically weapons to fight the beasts that live on Earth, like not in the sky. They have these magical weapons.
The beasts can't fly. But they can sometimes like erupt parts of themselves to shoot up to the. So that's why people live in the sky, because the beasts have conquered the Earth. But yeah, they have to use magic swords and like a magic system that the magic is stronger the less you want to live.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you're not going to like it when you find out what these girls really are, because they're, we just send them off to die, and they're not expected, they're expendable, not expected to live, so they have no expectation. Which I just want you to say your note straight up about what else we learn about these girls, because they look human in a world that has no humans.
You're talking about the big reveal?
Yeah, the big reveal.
The big reveal that they're leprechauns?
Yeah. I think Japan has been a little weird with the leprechaun, but
that could have been like a what do you call that?
Translation error?
Yeah, translation error or something. But they said leprechauns.
They straight they say this, or at least that's what the subtitle says, is leprechauns. But I took it more as they also use the word fairies for them. So it's like, okay, well, leprechauns are a type of fey creature, so you could. I don't know if it's just Japan being like leprechaun, fairy, tomato, potato.
It may be like they're using leprechauns as like the small fairies, so it's like they're not quite fairies yet because they're not trained in the weapons, so they might call them leprechauns. Or like
they're called leprechauns just because
they're short.
Yeah,
and looking for that pot of gold.
They're young. Maybe after me, Lucky Charms.
Yeah, that's why they're leprechauns. They're looking for Lucky Charms.
Which, interestingly enough, the swords we learn are actually made out of talismans or charms for, like, their sword is just a bunch of talismans put together in the shape of a sword. And there's a scene where a guy's like, hey, that talisman is so you can always find your way north. That one is like to keep the rain away or something. Or what was?
Oh man, what was it? One was like you'll never have your tea will never be too hot.
Oh,
or something.
your tea will never burn your tongue.
Yeah.
That's the first one he mentions. But it's like, yeah, but when you combine them, they do weird things. Like, it's weird how all these little small things add up to be a destructive weapon type of thing. So, those are their charms.
Yeah. So, moving on, then we get to learn that our main character is actually a human who 500 years ago was like the Avatar and just like frozen in time.
Yeah, he like defeated one of the beasts, and the beast was like, well, I'll wake up in 100 years or something, and then you'll be cursed because of all the damage you did to me. And so he was petrified. He was turned to stone, and then
covered in ice.
Yeah, they covered in ice, or I don't know if that was part of the petrified, or but they found him in a frozen lake or a frozen pond, and then they used their modern fantasy medicine to bring him back from petrification. So he's the last human that we know of. There's some leprechauns that look like humans. The other caretaker, because he's a caretaker of those, the other caretaker is a big character, is one of the people who found him, or part of like the treasure hunting group that found him. She's
technically a troll.
Yeah, she's a troll. She keeps at first you're like you look, so I don't know. She uses terms that are like, oh, she's getting intimate with him, but it's like, oh, no. She actually wants to eat him.
Yeah.
She literally wants to eat him up. It's not a figurative, I could just eat you up. She's like, can I
This isn't your grandma's eating you up. Okay, but then stuff happens. You get to learn more about that main chick whose name was...
Oh, I don't remember. I didn't bother to write it down.
It was Cthulhu.
It was not Cthulhu, but you're close.
It started like that. It's like Cthulhu or something. I don't know. Otello.
It was like SCT. It was
Catholi.
Oh, CH. Yeah, Catholi. CHTHOLLY. Catholi.
Catholi
is I think how they pronounce it. I was trying to listen because you look at it how it's spelled. It's like I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. Yeah. But you got to kind of listen to how they actually call her, and it's something like Catholi. So.
And then the humans guy is Willem.
Yeah, that one's easy.
Yeah,
that one's Englishized.
But Catholi is one of the main warriors that they have. And
so she's older.
Is basically set to die in 5 days because this attack that the beasts are going to be doing.
Yeah, they're like, we know there's going to be a beast attack. We can predict it that much. We know it's going to be strong enough that the only way we'll be able to beat it is if one of us uses the ultimate magic, opening the fairy gate is what they call it, which will explode both the user and the thing that they're fighting there. So she's like, I was the one selected to do it, and she's like, they're all resigned to their fate. They don't care if they die, type of thing. And then the main guy's like, what? No, that's fucked up, yo. I'm like, I know, I've been there before. Don't do that. But there's a little bit of, she's like, oh, can you be a little bit nicer to me knowing that I'm going to die? Can you grant me requests? And he's like, can you kiss me? And he's like, no.
No. I will give you an erotic massage, though.
That was to help with the effects of the poisoning from using the magic.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
I'm sure he used that line on a bunch of ladies.
She made some noises that it's like, I've gotten a massage before. I didn't make those noises.
Yeah. Basically, but how the last episode 3 ends is she basically is like, no, you know what, you're right. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, he's like, there's a better way to use these weapons you've been given. I know because I'm a human and I've used them before. Yeah. Try to think of another way. I think you can get better if you actually
train
and utilize it instead of just relying on brute force and all that. So there's a little bit of okay, well, she might. I mean, I have a feeling that she's going to. Considering we stopped at episode 3,
and they're going to battle the next episode.
I have a feeling that she's not just going to die off there. But what do you think? Do you think you're going to watch this, or?
I am intrigued by it. I think I will.
You're going to finish it, or are you going to queue it? and watch it some other time?
I'll probably watch it whenever you decide to watch it.
Okay.
It's
Because I'm not gonna watch it later tonight. I don't think.
Yeah.
Just because we're getting kind of late.
No, it's intriguing enough to continue watching. I'm not gonna drop it.
Yeah. So
I just might not watch it. I'll probably say cue it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say. I mean, I'll cue it, but I'll probably watch it later this week or something. But I will wait to watch it with you instead of what I did with when Supernatural Battles become commonplace. You might have seen like episode like 8 or something.
Those are good episodes. But yeah, it's intriguing. I think it might be
worth checking out. It's newer, I think.
I don't know.
Fairly new. It looked newer. I hadn't seen it around for a long time.
I just picked the title. I don't look at it.
Yeah. Maybe it's not new. It seemed new. But let's roll in. Let's talk about our main topic. Let's talk about Rail Wars.
Rail Wars.
We're Rail fans. I'm a Rail fan after watching this. You don't know that commercial though.
No, I don't.
So there was a commercial, I don't know how many years ago. There's a commercial for like a train simulator game where they got Sean Bean to do the voiceover, and he's just talking about like the beauty and glory of trains and how we're rail fans. That's the tagline. Is Sean Bean going like, we are rail fans. You gotta look it up. I'll try to put a link in the description of the episode. Note to self, when I'm editing this later, put in a link in the description to the episode. All right, got it? Thanks. You're the best, John. All right, so let's introduce the characters, or the 4 main characters first. There's other characters that show up, but we'll kind of introduce them as they show up. So we've got Naoto Takayama, who's our main character. How would you describe Naoto?
He's a train nerd who's kind of bland, but like, he does have some like leadership qualities though. Like he's nice. Yeah. He's always thinking of others, but he's just kind of bland.
Yeah, he's a typical anime protagonist. Unfortunately, it's always kind of the weakest part of. The girls are always the best part of some of the trash shows I watch. And I'm like, the main character? I don't know. He's there. He's there so that he doesn't have too many distinctive personality traits so I can think that he's me. And I don't get jealous of the girls liking him. But yeah, no, his one defining trait is that he knows a lot about trains. He's basically the kid from the movie Mirai grown up. He just knows all the train types and loves trains.
This train is a fire type. He's strong against water type trains.
Yeah, that's what we mean by train types, Ben. Sorry,
this is an electric type train.
Yes, Ben, there are electric type trains.
See?
And fire type trains. If you think of coal, I guess I was making fun of you, but you were onto something.
Boom. You know, some tracks have like ground wires, so they're ground type. Okay. I don't think that helps with the train, but
okay. So, yeah, he's kind of boring, likes trains, but because he's boring and he likes trains, he doesn't have too many character strengths or flaws. He's the perfect everyman. He can be the team leader type of thing.
He's temporary leader, but he's the leader throughout the entire show.
They keep saying acting leader.
He's acting team leader.
I think what that means, after looking at it, is the real head of the team that they're on, which we'll introduce later.
Okay.
He's more like deputy.
Gotcha.
He's the deputy in charge.
So it's like, I don't want to do my job. You do my job.
Yeah, basically. Their real boss is like, you'll just take orders. I'll give you assignments.
It's like when Kirk leads the ship in Star Trek. It's like, you're acting captain until I get back.
Yeah.
Just in this case, she just doesn't leave.
It's like he's kind of the point man too. He's okay when here's your assignments. You'll listen to what I tell you to do, but you'll be in charge of making decisions when you're actually out in the field, type of thing. So that's why they call him acting, because it's more like he's second in command. Deputy. But it is confusing. Like they keep saying acting, like it's in a transition phase,
or like it can change.
It's like nope. It doesn't change. I mean, I guess it could change. It's just never been a reason to. But let's move on to our next character. I've got Aoi Sakurai is the next one listed because I think she's technically the next person we see. Maybe we see Haruka before, but
I don't know. It's interchangeable.
Yeah, they're both introduced pretty soon. So, how would you describe Sakurai?
Tsundere.
Yes, very much so.
She's the no-nonsense tsundere.
Yes. She's got a very antagonistic view of men at the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm.
She is a let's solve it with violence type answer. Like she's the one person who carries a gun on the security team.
Her dad was a cop, so like her dad taught her how to be like a no-nonsense fight.
I have a feeling that her family is a family of preppers.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if I go that far.
Maybe. You telling me she's never had an MRE? Is that what you're telling me? She's had an MRE before.
You mean MRI?
No. An MRE, it's like I don't remember what the M stands for, but it's like ready to eat. Made ready to eat or something like that. It's
like Chef Boyardee?
No, like army rations.
No.
I know you know what an MRE is. You're just being mean. But I guess also I would say our another one of our characters. Let's just move on. We'll come back to Haruka, but another one of our characters I would say is probably from a prepper family, and that's Sho Iwaizumi.
Nah, he has like a really nice family.
He wears
his mom and dad are like librarians.
He wears a combat vest, and their superiors are like, "Why are you wearing that?" He's like, oh, "It's a hard." It's a hard glove vest for combat. It's like, what? But why are you wearing it? There's like, he has a first aid kit that it's like, oh, my dad said to always be prepared. He's got lots of crazy stuff in his first aid
Librarian
kit.
life ain't easy.
What if you get a paper cut in row 52?
Fixing the Dewey Decimal System. I don't know how
what if
work.
Dewey starts throwing his decimal
What if the book has a knife?
Okay, all right. How would a book hold a knife?
I don't know, by its spine.
Can you hold things by its spine?
I mean, if you stick the knife in the spine, it'll stay in the book.
I guess.
Like a hardback. You know, sometimes that spine kind of comes out.
Yeah, kind of comes out. There. That's all right. That's prison tips with Ben.
That's where you keep your shit.
Yeah, obviously. I've seen that episode of Monk where he gives what's his name, the guy who plays Machete.
Oh, Danny Trejo.
Yeah, he gives Danny Trejo advice for how to better hide his shiv to befriend him. Things this podcast could have been is a Monk podcast.
Yeah.
If you want to hear a Monk podcast, let us know.
Please, let us know. I'll do it.
Ben will do it.
I'll do it in a heartbeat. If one person says yes.
Ben, I said we could do a Monk podcast once, and you passed on that idea.
2 people say yes. Sorry, 3 people, because I would say yes.
Okay, so a third person says Monk podcast. We'll do it. Maybe not right away, but we'll do it eventually. What that means, if we go episode by episode, God, that would be long, but season by season would be too short.
Get back to Rail Horse.
Okay. Our last character. Oh, let's describe Sho a little bit.
He's the muscle.
Yeah, he
doesn't show up till episode 7. He's the muscle.
He does not. He's there the whole time. You just didn't know what his name was till episode 7.
He's not existent until episode 7.
Which, to be fair, I didn't know what his name was till the end either. It's just kind of like, are they gonna say his name? I missed it the first couple of times.
He's just there.
Yeah, he's really not important. I need more Iwaizumi. He needs to have.
We'll talk about that later.
But I describe. Let's get into this conversation because you don't know what I mean when I say he's a himbo.
Yeah, I don't know what himbo means.
Okay. What if I gave you an example? Launchpad McQuack is a himbo.
Oh, he's like a big tough dude who's dumb.
Yeah, he's a big, dumb, hot dude. Muscular, hot, tough dude.
I mean, I'm not really into anamorphic ducks, but...
Look, I'm just going off of when I learned the term himbo, it's because somebody called Launchpad McQuack a himbo, and I had to Google what it meant.
Hot, dumb, muscular guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think he necessarily has to be muscular, but he's that trope. He's the dumb hot guy trope.
Gotcha.
Which tends to be also muscular when it comes to that. So,
gotcha.
Okay, now our last character, I think, is your favorite character. Am I right in saying that?
Which one?
Komi Haruka.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Is Iwazumi your favorite character?
I mean, favorite male character, yes.
Okay. We'll get to it. Oh, I bet I know who your favorite character is. We'll get to it when we talk about Best Girl, which will be in a while.
Wait, this is going.
So Haruka, she's the kind one. She's also really book smart, and she can like speed read textbooks.
Yeah, she's the very smart one. She knows English.
Yeah. And she knows how to work the caboose.
We told you.
We told you this joke was coming. All credits to Demolition D.
All right, got that out of the way. Definitely won't say it again.
We might say it again.
Yeah,
who knows?
Yeah,
we've got a lot of podcasts left.
Yeah, Haruka is the smart one. She's the nice one.
She's kind of quiet.
She's a little, timid though.
She's got the she's the prime. She's the example of gynaxing in this show, which
please
talk
explain.
About this. You don't know what that is.
No.
So when a character is gynaxing, it's talking about the anime Gunbuster, which was, I don't know, it was like 80s or 90s, something like that. And it was, there's a scene in Gunbuster that just revolutionized boob physics in anime, where somebody is jogging, and then it's like, oh, the jiggle was added. Okay, this basically first.
So we have Gynax
Gunbuster, which is a classic Gynax show.
So we have Gynax to thank for that.
Yes, we have Gynax to thank for the modern boob physics. It's, it's like the Newton of boob physics.
Gotcha.
This is the 3 laws of boob physics. Gynax's 3 laws of boob physics. You should watch Gunbuster sometime.
I think I watched Diebuster.
I like Diebuster more, but it ties into Gunbuster. Yeah. So
I watched one of them. Yeah. I think it was the sequel though.
Okay. Well, let's move on. Let's start talking about the actual show. Okay. And we're gonna be a little bit more detailed than we were last episode, but we're not gonna really care about episode breaks. Yeah, we might mention them when it makes sense to mention them. Mm-hmm. We might blur them a little bit as we don't remember the exact order of things. But we start out. Basically, the premise of the show is the railways in Japan in this world were never privatized like they were in the real world. Mm-hmm. So to have a job at on a train or near a train station or whatnot, you have to be a government worker, which they basically say you have to be in this Japanese security force, which is basically their army. Yeah. So to join that, you have to go to like a specialized high school where, when you're older, I'm sure you study things, but you have a 1-month course of like, okay, here's some practical like tests, and then there's some practical training on it where you'll be working. And then you start in, they call it an OJT, which is on-job training, I believe. Mm-hmm. Basically, like, okay, you're going to have a minor role working, on a train or in a train station somewhere. It can take several different forms. Mm-hmm. Our main characters, the 4 of them kind of team up, or they sort of become friends. Sakurai is a little distant to the boys, but Haruka is not, so they all kind of team up. They have like an assignment. They're the only group that passes this assignment to get a train up to 100 kilometers per hour by using coal efficiently in the furnace and stuff like that.
They have to get it to 100 kilometers so they can go back in time.
Nope, I don't think that's how that works. I think it's so they can pass their class.
Oh, that's not as exciting.
Yeah. But they all, because of their good teamwork, and they're the only ones that are, I mean, we never really are told why, but they're put together again on their on-job training.
Yeah, I think it was just coincidence or something.
And their first day, they follow a purse snatcher onto a train, or like he goes onto a different train, and then they take a faster train to head him off.
It's like those math questions you always get.
This train leaves the station going this mile an hour. This train leaves the station going this mile an hour in the same direction. How long until the trains meet? But because our main character is a train otaku, they can figure it out. And
it's the yellow one. The yellow one goes faster.
Yep. So because it looks like a lightning bolt. But they beat the purse snatcher, even though they were told to not worry about it.
Yeah. Like do not engage, that type of stuff.
But because of their heroics and whatnot, they get assigned to be a specialty security team, the K4 security team. Mm-hmm. And we meet another main character who is an adult woman who is the leader of the security team, but then quickly makes our main character the acting leader, so she doesn't have to do as much work. Her name is Nana Ida. So she's like she's kind of, I don't know, emotionally mature. She can kind of tell when there's like, oh, this person kind of likes this person.
I mean, she's an adult.
Yeah, she's a grown up. She's the grown up of the group. Really doesn't do too much.
No.
She like I'll occasionally give them assignments like, okay, you're gonna be going and doing this.
I'll occasionally hit on Takayama.
It's like, come on, you're a woman. This is a 16-year-old boy at most, maybe 17.
Anyways, yeah, but she doesn't do much. She's kind of just there to like, hey, this is what we're doing.
Yep.
This is our assignment. Go do it. It's kind of her role.
They find a dog on a train. That was somebody put a dog in a carrier bag and then put it in the roof tiles on a train, the ceiling tiles on a train. And it's like, this is suspicious.
Huh?
They bring it to Lost and Found. They try to like contact the owner. Or actually, the owner contacts the train station to verify where it's at.
Yeah.
But then there's news that a bomb actually goes off in a coin locker. And then they're on high alert. They have to...
Well, it explodes right in front of Takayama.
It does?
Yeah.
I just remember it explodes.
Yeah, it explodes right by him.
But they're like, okay. And then they're told, here's we want ransom. Otherwise, a second bomb is going to go off. We're not going to tell you where the bomb is. Turns out the bomb is in the dog bag.
Yep, the dog's the bomb.
Yep, the dog barking masks the sound of the detonation beeps or whatnot. Luckily, Sakurai knows how to disarm a bomb.
Yeah, obviously. I mean,
because of her prepper background. But she gets to a point where she's like, it's either this wire or this wire, and there's really no way of telling.
She's just really into that game. Like, keep talking and nobody explodes.
Yeah, it's just because that gives you real bomb disarming skills.
Yeah, no more stuff.
They built in a bunch of puzzles into people's bombs. That's what happens. But eventually, there's a point where Takayama and Sakurai are both working on it, and she's like, "I need you to hold this."
Yeah, she cuts the wrong wire, so it like speeds up. Yeah. She's like, "Oops."
I need you to hold this. And he's like, okay. And then she gets out from under the bomb, and then she just starts running away. And it's like, she's getting out of there.
Yeah.
Turns out she was running to a restaurant that they went to before, where they use bottles, like canned air of, liquid nitrogen to cool desserts, flash cool desserts. So she used that to slow the timer, so that they could then, it wouldn't go off. I think there's 1 second left on the timer
I think there's like 4 seconds.
Okay. It was very close.
Yeah, I mean it has to be.
Yeah,
you can't stop a bomb with 2 minutes left. It's not exciting.
It might be a little bit more realistic, but it's not exciting. So it's just like, okay, she didn't just leave him to die, but it was very funny when she just gets the hell out of there.
Yeah, I like it when the bomber expects there to be like no cops when he like goes to the money drop off.
It's like. Of course there's cops.
It's like, what are you doing? Why are you there? Have you not seen a movie? I guess
he just thought that they wouldn't approach him because they would be worried about the bomb, like him detonating the bomb. But they had the bomb already figured out.
I guess. It's just like, what are you doing?
Look, the criminal mind does not always think that far ahead. Or think that clearly. They stopped the bomb. The next episode, we're introduced to another new character, which this one I think is your favorite character.
Yep.
Okay. Her name is Tasho, something like that.
Saso.
She is a childhood friend of Takayama's, or they went to the same high school together before going into this.
They know each other.
Yeah, they know each other. She is also a big train nerd. She records train sounds, and she can tell.
Is she a train nerd or a sound nerd?
I think it's both. I think she's a train sound nerd.
Okay.
She's a nerd about train sounds. So like they showcase like, you know, a train pulls up behind her and she's like, "Ah, yes, it's that train." And it's like, yeah, "You did it. Good job." So she's got very perceptive ears, which comes in handy later in the episode when a friend of hers who helps her record the train sounds
is abducted
by, it turns out to be drug dealers because she saw something shady going on or whatnot.
Yeah, she like walked in on a drug deal.
Yeah. But they find her phone, and there's a recording on there where they can hear a train in the background, and you can faintly, very faintly, like I don't think I heard it, you could hear waves lapping in the background. So
there's also a Monk episode where he does that, where it's like, that's like I think it's like a Ferris wheel or something. You could hear a Ferris wheel in the background, so it's like, that's where they're at. No, it was waves. It's like somebody was kidnapped, and they like tied him up and like underneath the pier. And it was like high tide. So like he could hear like the Ferris wheel on top of the pier, so they knew they were underneath the pier.
Okay. So this is the type of
content
this is the type of content you're missing when you don't listen to a Monk podcast. So they identify the wave sounds, and she's like, "Okay, the only station where you can hear this train approaching."
I'm pretty sure Takayama figures it out. She's like, I hear these sounds. It's this train. It's like by the ocean. And then Takayama's like, okay, this train is only by the ocean at this stop.
Yeah, so like, you'd only be able to hear the train and the waves
at this location.
Here. It's the only one close enough.
I think it's because you could hear the train going backwards. So
yeah, it was something like it had to be at a station because of the sound it was making. Whether or not it was like a specific whistle call for like, hey, we're approaching the station, or if it was some noise it makes, like you said, when it's going background. I don't remember the exact thing, but it's like it had to be a station near the waves where you could also hear the waves. So they find her. There's a cut right before like the action scene where they beat them up. It's just like they beat up the drug dealers. The next episode is the swimsuit episode. We need at least one of those per anime.
Yep.
Well, that's not true, but a lot of animes will have at least one swimsuit episodes. If we're lucky, we get multiple. In Haruhi, we get at least 8. We get more than that because there's also the deserted island, so we get at least 9 swimsuit episodes.
We only get 1 here.
Yeah, we only get 1 here for now. Season 2, please. But they have a job being security for an idol who's going to play a promotional show for the train service, which you think is weird.
I think it's weird.
Okay, I don't think you quite understand idol culture very well.
Okay,
because they will do shows promoting things a lot. They're basically run by corporations.
Okay,
idols are. They're not. It's not like a.
To me, it'd be like if Ariana Grande did a special concert for Amtrak. It's like, what? How did Amtrak afford this? What are they doing?
Yeah. Well,
and she could be like a small time pop star.
Yeah. Well, and I brought up when we were talking about this while watching the show, it reminds me of how the United States Postal Service was like in a lawsuit with the band, the Postal Service. And then they settled like out of court so long as the Postal Service did like a promotional show for the post office.
You didn't tell me they got sued by him.
I think it was part of like a lawsuit. I don't.
Interesting.
But it was that's near and dear to my heart because not only do I like the band, the Postal Service, which is actually like a super group kind of. I also have family members who've worked for the post office for most of their lives. My mom and my grandfather. So I just like news about the post office. It's neat to me. I care about the post office more than the average person, I think. But it's going to be held on a beach, So Ida
They gotta
comes
blend in.
They gotta blend in. So Ida comes to our rescue by making
Blend
sure.
in by wearing swimsuits and like tactical vests.
Yeah, it's great. I think it's not to blend in. It's specifically to stand out, so people are like, oh, I don't want to try anything because there's clearly security here. If it was just some dude in a suit, you'd be like, well, who the hell is that? But if it's a smoking hot girl in a tactical vest, you're like, oh shit, she means business.
And I want to be that business.
I want to be that business. But there's the pop star got a note from like a stalker or something saying that this show is going to be her last. Yeah. So they're on high alert. Mm-hmm. There's like a scare that they have first to try to scare her from doing the show, where they replace the confetti in the practice show with flash paper, so it burns up real quick, real fast, but doesn't actually harm anything. But they're on high alert. The stalker is dressed as a staff member and does start to come out on stage, but they like play it off as it's part of the show. Also, I think he was staff. It wasn't that he was dressed up as staff. I thought he was part of the staff. Oh, okay. I'm not for sure. He had a hat that said staff. I'm like, it's a pretty cool hat. Yeah. I like cool hats. I could go for a hat that says staff. That'd be cool. But Takayama recognizes it, takes a knife, but luckily, like, I think he had like a book in his pocket. He had a stamp book in his pocket. Yeah. Because he was like, I'm going to visit this this train station, so I need to get my train station book stamped. So he had that in his pocket, and that stopped the knife partially. And then he's all sagged. He's like, my book is ruined. But they play it off as like part of the show, which is pretty neat. Like, there's somebody attacking. Now we need the trusty train security force to fend them off. And of course, the girls are all worried about him because he was stabbed. And he was in pain, but I don't think he took any real damage there. But that's the swimsuit episode. What happens in the next episode here? I have it written down, but
it's kind of a bland episode. They're chasing like an accomplice to the first bomber.
Oh,
and they like follow him through like multiple train stops and like way out of town.
Okay. I like this episode. I don't know. It's a very Sakurai heavy episode though.
Yeah, see, that's why you like it. It's all Sakurai and no other.
So Takayama and Sakurai are chasing a suspect to be he's a suspect to be related to the first bomber that we mentioned. And he apparently has bombs himself on him.
Yep.
He blows up part of the track at one point. Sakurai gets injured, so she has to use basically, they have to trigger the rockfall warning fence by shooting at it.
Because there's a train coming.
Yeah, because there's a train coming and the track is partially destroyed.
It would derail it.
So like she has to use Takayama as an armrest to steady her aim and trigger it. Seconds before the train.
They like stop right by them.
Yeah, it's like, all right.
Just another... I don't know a lot about trains, but I don't think trains stop that quick.
They might have been trying to stop sooner.
That's true.
It was a curve. It was like coming around a curve or something too, so they might have been slowing down.
Might have heard the bomb.
Might have heard the bomb. Maybe all they did was for not, and they just should have gotten off the train tracks. But because of that, she goes and chases him into the mountains without Takayama. Then she gets kind of like, she loses him, and she's in like a railway tunnel. Takayama's like, I thought you might come here, and then
she like tripped like security.
Yeah, she's tripped a security alarm. That's what it was.
So like he knew she was down there,
or she knew somebody was there, and he figured it was her.
Yeah.
So then they go, and she's all like muddy and wet, so she's got to wear some of his clothes while hers dry out, and spend the night together
in a train station.
It's not a station. No, it's like a train stop.
Yeah.
It's outdoors with it's like more like a bus stop for trains. So yeah, great episode. Episode 6, that's when they start.
That's the misunderstanding episode.
What do you mean by the misunderstanding episode?
Was it Takayama and Haruka think they're being chased?
Oh, that's right. So because of their actions in previous episodes, they're put under quote unquote house arrest, which nobody follows.
No, nobody's. The only ones who's probably at the house is Iwazumi. I don't even know if he was on house arrest.
No, he was not. He was not at his house because they see him at an eating contest.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. So yeah, nobody's following the house.
And again, I don't know if that was like another like mistranslation. I feel like it was supposed to be you're confined to your house for like safety, not necessarily.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Like house arrest is.
It's not. Hey, you're in trouble. You have to stay at home. It's.
Hey, there's.
You just pissed off a bomber.
Yeah. So you're gonna be.
Yeah.
Hiding away, but nobody follows that. Not even their boss.
Yeah. Who goes shopping with like her boss?
Yeah. Which we should talk about her boss a little bit. She was also a teacher at when they had that first month. And there's just a scene I wanted to bring up, so this is why I'm going back to it now. One of the first questions they ask in class is like, "What should you do when you like face a groper on a train?" And Sakurai stands up and is like, "Believe you should shoot to kill." And the lady is like, "I share your sentiment, but we can't do that yet."
Yet.
Yet being the key word. Sorry, let's go back. So Takayama receives a letter that's like, "You could die at any day" or something. And he takes it as like, "Oh, is this a threat letter?" Calls Sakurai. She doesn't answer at first. Mm-hmm. Then he calls Haruka or he sees Haruka.
I think he calls Haruka first.
Okay, but then he's like, "Hey, I got this letter. What should we do?" It's like, "Well, we should either investigate or try to hide or something."
I think they're gonna call Sakurai, but again, she didn't.
Or maybe they're gonna go try to find her. But either way, Sakurai does like see that she missed a call, and as she's going to call him back, sees that he's with Haruka, and he's like, "Oh, so that's going on.
He's cheating on me."
I mean, she still hasn't admitted anything in typical fashion, but she's like, "I guess I'll follow them." And then she has I think she was getting, when she first sees them, she was like picking up an airsoft gun that she was having repaired or something.
I don't know,
because
I think she just had it on her.
Well, I thought she was coming out of an airsoft gun store or something. Either way, she accidentally fires an airsoft bullet that smashes like a vase next to them, and so he thinks assassins are after him.
Yeah.
They climb a fence. Haruka's skirt gets ripped by the fence, so they abandon that.
And they fall into a like container or like a big old box of cat food.
Yeah, a big box of cat food, and then there's just like stray cats following them around. And Haruka's like, "Cat assassins! I've heard that animals can be trained to do stuff. I think they've trained these cats to be assassins."
Yeah.
And Takayama's like, "I get that makes sense.
Yeah,
they're attacking.
Sounds
you
legit.
And ripping off your clothes." But they run away. Eventually, they go to like a train museum that's closed, and they're like, "Weird that this is unlocked."
Yeah.
They go and hide in there. They're like hiding in like at one point they hide in a closet, but there's the reason that everything was unlocked is because people had broken in.
Yeah.
And were stealing.
They walked into a robbery.
Stuff. Yeah. So sure enough, because of that, some of the higher up security people, like the boss lady we were just talking about,
and Ida.
And Ida show up. Sakurai is also there following them, and then so they put an end to that threat, but they hid Haruka in a closet, and she just comes out fully naked. It's like, what were you doing with her in that closet? But this is also the episode where it's revealed that way long ago, Haruka said that she was joining the train company so that she could follow somebody she respected into the line of work. And it turns out that was Takayama the whole time, because he like found her. She was like stuck in a closet.
She was stuck in a closet.
She's stuck in a closet, and he found her and got her out. And he's like, "I hope this doesn't ruin your love of trains." When they were little kids.
I don't even know if she was stuck. I think she just didn't open the door. Because he just opens the door.
Yeah. Well, it's a little weird. There's one point where she's like, "Do you remember what happened 9 years, 6 months, and 4 days ago?" I don't know if that was the exact time, but she just rattles off an exact specific date. And he's like, "What?"
No,
I don't.
I was probably at the train museum because I'm there every day.
That's where that gets revealed. I don't know if that's revealed to Takayama at that point. It's revealed to us. I don't know if he.
I think he tells her, or she tells him.
Okay. I think you're right, because I think that's why we know about it.
Yeah.
The next episode is the first episode where they leave to go to a training camp. Right?
And this is where I learned the name of Iwazumi.
Yeah, he finally his name gets mentioned again.
He gets mentioned after, I think, the first episode.
They had to say his name. We just weren't paying attention.
He's not in it!
Because we started paying attention after we realized that we couldn't remember his name. So I'm sure they said his name plenty of times. We just didn't register it until we were actually actively looking for it to register. We were just sitting there like, come on, say his name.
Say
his name, goddammit.
Say it!
But
his name's Iwazumi.
Yeah, his name's Iwazumi. So they go to this training camp. It's part security training, but it's also part, like, they have a train operating course there.
Mm-hmm.
And they think they're driving a real train, but they're actually just driving a very realistic simulation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they go into a train,
yeah,
but it's just like vid screens instead of windows. And before that, though, the group learns that Takayama doesn't want to be on the security force. He wants to be a train operator.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? I really thought we were going to be...
I thought we were all in this together.
Yeah. And Sakurai really hits hard because she thought, like, oh, he's abandoning me type of thing. But it hurts their teamwork because she's, like, pissed at him and won't listen to, his whistles. Things. Yeah. So they're like, we need to slow down. And she's like, why are we slowing down? You're the reason we're going so slow to begin with. He's like, because we're on a damn hill and we need to brake and there's turns coming up. And he makes a risky call because she's not listening to him to try to apply the emergency brakes at his end. And it causes a train derailment, which is when we learn it's a simulation. Like, you failed. You didn't... Everyone didn't do their job.
Everybody died.
Everybody's dead. But then, because of that, I think they're like, take a day off. Like,
it's like, don't come. You're gonna like.
You gotta work this team stuff out, or else it's just gonna keep piling up. So, like,
well, then I think they're like, there's no chance of you passing the rest of the exam or whatever they had. So it's like, just don't come.
Yeah, just get their stuff worked out and then try again.
Yeah.
Because if you stay the way you are now, you're not gonna get it because you got to work out these personal issues.
Yeah.
So they have a day off. They're all gonna go like shopping and hang out. But before they can, Ida calls Takayama and says, "Hey, I need you to go run an errand for me." He's like, "Okay," and he's like, "Hey, everyone, I'll tell Sakurai where you guys are going. I'll tell him to meet up with you, and then I've got to run an errand. I'll see you guys later." So he goes to run an errand. It's at a chapel.
Yep.
Sakurai doesn't know where the rest of the group is, so she goes to where he is.
Yeah, I guess she was following him or something.
Something like that. And then Haruka also decides to go and see him there, and she's like, "Why are you guys hanging out without me in a chapel?" I thought. Yeah. And then it starts to come to a head, and we actually get. This is where it draws the line. We don't really remember where the episode ends. Because it kind of picks up at the same place. It's kind of a cliffhanger. But it turns out that the goal was to go pick up the pop star Noah at the chapel.
Yeah.
And then Noah is kind of like, "Oh, why are you guys both here? I was hoping it would just be me and him."
Yeah.
And she's kind of got a thing for him now, too.
This is where I wrote, "This is a harem?"
Which, it's pretty obvious to me that this was going to be a harem as soon as Sasha showed up.
I got the sense it's like, it's going to be either Haruka or Sakurai, which I guess is a harem, but it's like...
It's more
once
love
you add
triangle.
more people, I'm like, okay, now this is what I think of as a harem. It's like 3 or 4 girls. It's like, okay.
Yeah. No, I figured as soon as Sasha showed up, I'm like, oh, well, of course, we're already introducing more girls that are into him. So,
she doesn't give off the, like, I like you vibes, though, I don't think, as much. I think she gets a little bit more playful towards the end.
She gets more playful. She doesn't give off as many vibes, because she doesn't really care for him. She's too busy being a pop star in the 4th episode, and she's a constant...
No, I'm talking about Saso.
Oh, it's Saso. There's definite vibes.
There's vibes. I don't remember when those vibes hit, though.
So we should bring this up, because I tried to find out more information about the show, like what happens after it. But I couldn't really find great summaries online about what happens in the other light novels. But Noah and Sasha are characters that change a little bit in between the books and the show, whereas neither of them are really all that into the main character.
Okay.
Sasha is actually sort of into Iwazumi, and I don't think Noah really cares about anyone at all in the books. But they added it because that's what sells anime. Of course they're into the main character. It'd be weird if a girl was not into him and into clearly better Iwazumi.
Clearly better Iwazumi.
But while they're like arguing, Haruka tries to be assertive at one point, but then Noah just shuts her down. But it starts raining, so they don't really want to go out because they don't have umbrellas.
Yeah.
Iwazumi shows up with Sasha, I believe. So they're all there together now, so it's kind of awkward to talk about it, even though it was coming to a head.
Yeah.
But then they get a call saying they need to go back to the train station to help out with things because there was a mudslide, which they used the word.
Yeah, it's not a mudslide; it's an avalanche.
Okay, an avalanche is with snowben. I know the subtitle said.
I know how to read, and it said avalanche.
Okay. Well, the subtitles are wrong. Now, maybe they're the same word in Japanese, but it was a mudslide. There's ground covering the track so that trains can't get through. So they had to get it was like everyone has to evacuate, and we're not going to have trains running for a while. Somebody is holding a briefcase and yelling at a customer service rep saying no, I need to get on a train. And they're like, all right, lady, look, there's nothing we can do. And then the trainer guy's like, well, let's just see, why do you need to get on a train? It's like, well, I've got a heart that needs to go to a hospital for a heart transplant that's going to go bad in 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I really need to get going because it's going to be too long by car to go.
And I think the highways are blocked up too.
Yeah, the highways are blocked up too. So they come up with a plan. It's part Takayama's plan. They're like, well, there's some old unused tracks that are kind of, we don't know what state they're in.
Yeah.
That we can send this little small pedal assisted.
Yeah, it's almost like those old timey westerns where it's you gotta pump it to
but it's got a bike pedal. It's got 2 bike pedals for people to power it, and there's engines to help it, but you're charging the engine and stuff by pedaling. So okay, so Haruka speed reads a giant manual.
Yeah.
That's her job. She's the technical expert.
Yeah.
Takayama is the he's team leader. He's in charge of making the calls and everything. Iwazumi is the powerhouse.
Yeah.
And then Sakurai is just kind of the gopher, really. She just does everything else, right?
Yeah, she's just kind of there.
Yeah, she helps. Her and Iwazumi both kind of help. Okay, we're going. When they start going downhill, they don't need Iwazumi pedaling because they're going downhill.
But they kind of lose their brakes, I think. So
they lose part of their braking system, and part of their braking system gets overheated, and it needs to cool down by not being used. They need to keep the train on the track because as it's taking curves, it's gonna lean to one side. So they're leaning out the side of it so that they can get it. At one point, the tunnel they're in is too narrow for them to lean out the side to adjust the weight. So Iwazumi just kicks the wall to get them away from it. It's because they're grinding on the walls. You just need to get this away from the wall, right?
I think he kicks the other side of the train, but I don't think he actually kicks the actual wall.
I thought he kicked the wall to
if he kicked the wall, he'd impale himself or something.
I don't know. He just does a jump kick to get them off of that wall.
These episodes is where Iwazumi shines.
Yeah, he's finally got stuff to do.
Yeah,
he's finally a part of
this guy is awesome. He's kicking trains. He's kicking ass.
He's great. I love Iwazumi. Yeah. Before this, we're come on, say his name. Say that guy's name who's not important. And after this part, we're man,
he's the best. Great. Why isn't he the main character?
Because he's too interesting.
He's too hot.
Yep. He fits the trope better of best supportive friend type thing. They do make it down the tracks, and they have to jump out of the cart because their braking system is still not turning back on. So that little single thing crashes, but they're able to get the heart out and get it to somebody.
I have to bring it up. These 2 episodes, I think it's 8 and 9 are both these episodes. It has the strong Unstoppable vibes. Unstoppable being the train movie starring Denzel Washington and Chris Pine, where they have to stop a runaway train from derailing.
Yes, you kept bringing that up.
Yes, because that movie is great.
I think I've seen parts of it. It's one of those movies that...
If you want a train movie, like a good action train movie, watch Unstoppable.
Okay. Or Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3.
No, Unstoppable. Never seen Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3.
I've seen that one. That was another movie that played on Netflix.
So,
or some other train movie, because you just started writing down train movies.
So these are the train movies. If you want a train movie, these are some options. Some of these are better than others, and some of these I haven't seen, but these are other ones that I can remember that are strictly like based in a train. Yeah. It doesn't have trains in them. They're like on a train. Yeah. So there's Unstoppable. There are 2 Murder on the Orient Expresses.
Yep. Haven't
seen either. There are 2 Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3s.
Yes.
I have Polar Express.
Mm-hmm.
I probably wouldn't recommend that one, but it is a train movie.
It's a train movie. Some people like it.
There's Under Siege 2 Dark Territory, Steven Seagal movie, where terrorists take over a train. It's weird.
Yeah.
There's Source Code. It's where it stars Jake Gyllenhaal. He like body swaps into some dude and he has to stop an explosion, like a train bomb.
Yeah.
And then there's the Liam Neeson movie called The Commuter. Don't know what it's about. I just know it's Liam Neeson on a train.
Okay.
And then there's Snowpiercer. Okay. The like sci-fi Chris Evans.
As we were listing movies, I remembered a train movie that we weren't talking about before.
Oh yeah?
The Darjeeling Limited.
Oh yeah.
Okay. It's a Wes Anderson movie where Owen Wilson, Jason Schwartzman, and Adrian Brody are brothers. Estranged brothers. They're going to go try to find their mom, and their dad's dead.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're looking for train movies, boom.
Watch the Darjeeling Limited.
Or Unstoppable.
Okay, I'll watch Unstoppable if you'll watch the Darjeeling Limited with me.
Okay, deal.
So we should move on. Okay. After this episode, we get another 2-parter.
Do you want to talk about the like dark joke I had about this episode?
I mean, go ahead. I don't even remember what it was.
Okay, another tangent. There's a show that I watched like as a high schooler during the summers because I had nothing to do, and I had an older sister called One Tree Hill.
Okay,
it's one of those teen drama shows, and in that show, at one point, one of the main character dudes, the dad, has a bad heart and he's getting a heart transplant. He's at the hospital, like waiting to get the heart transplant. And the guy with his heart walks in, like trips over something, and the heart falls out of the cooler. And this random dog who's there takes the heart and runs off with it, so he doesn't get the heart. I was really hoping they would do something like that in this episode. Could be really funny. Obviously they don't, but I wanted them to like get there, be like yes, and then like Haruka just drop the heart onto the train tracks.
You just wanted Haruka to fuck it up.
Yeah, somebody to fuck it up. I thought it'd be hilarious.
Iwajumi is like, wait a minute, these weren't the snacks?
This is the wrong briefcase.
This has got somebody's underwear in it.
This is a liver.
Yeah, no, that's terrible. It's
That'd be really
terrible.
funny, though.
One Tree Hill, I'm glad I never watched it, because that's fucked up, yo.
Oh, he was a bad guy. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. So it was...
spoiler alerts
for... the dog's a hero?
A little bit. Spoiler alerts for One Tree Hill. The guy who lost the heart killed his brother.
Okay.
So, yeah. Didn't really care. So it's like, ha! Suck it. That's what you get.
That's what you get. Okay. So can we move on to the next episode?
Go watch Unstoppable. Go ahead.
Ben, I'm not going to go watch Unstoppable right now. We're so close to being done talking about
Pause
it.
We'll watch Unstoppable. We'll come back.
No, we don't have time. Okay. So, after this episode, we don't really see, like, all right, they made it, and that's kind of, like, people are, like, cheering them, like, you did it! But we don't really see, like, do they make it to the hospital in time? We don't. Their part is done in the story. Mm-hmm. They got the heart down the train tracks.
I think somebody meets him there.
Yeah, somebody's there to pick it up and take it to the hospital from that stop. So, we assume that everything worked out fine.
That's the episode where they like get saluted, though, right?
Yeah.
It's like, what are those guys doing? Why are you all saluting?
Don't you have work to do?
Isn't there like a mudslide that you gotta like clean up?
Cleaning up. Everyone's on a union mandated break. That's what's going on.
I thought that was funny though. It's like, just they pass this train station. There's like 50 people saluting them. It's like,
Don't you have a job to do?
Isn't there a mudslide we gotta fix?
Okay. So that episode kind of ends.
Yeah.
There's obviously like, okay, it doesn't pick up right where it left off in the next episode because they have another job. They're escorting a foreign prince visiting Japan, who actually went to school with Haruka.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole thing where Haruka,
she studied abroad.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she studied abroad. All right. Yeah. Sorry, the joke my dad made when I was looking at going to colleges, and I was like, I didn't want to study abroad. I'm like, why do they keep saying they try to push the studying abroad thing? And my dad just goes, yeah, we're paying you to study math, not broads. But he's like, it gets brought up. The prince is like, oh yeah, my old friend Haruka. And she's like, don't get the wrong idea. We're just friends, I swear. Please, I need you to believe me. I do not have feelings for this prince. And then Sakurai is like, her whole like, I don't care for that whole prince thing. Cinderella is a gold digger.
She doesn't even like
happily
show
ever
up
after
at the
shouldn't
first
depend
part.
on a man.
Yeah, she doesn't even like show up the first part. She like comes later.
Yeah, well, she's chasing down a perp or suspect or something, and she misses getting into the train. But there's other perps and suspects on
but basically they're just here to like escort a prince. He's on like a train ride because he likes trains too.
Yeah, he's a big train nerd.
Yeah.
And I guess he's got to go somewhere, so I'm like, we'll go by train.
And he's fifth in line.
Fifth in line for the throne.
They do that whole like trope where it's like, oh, I'm fifth in line. I'm not important unless 4 people in front of me die. Cut to the news. 4 people are dead.
No, it's missing. Yeah. Missing after a traffic accident.
There was a traffic accident and their like status are unknown, so they don't know if they're dead or not. Yeah. But it's like, oh, okay. We're gonna do that.
But there's people on the train there to try to kidnap them. They kick some of their butts. Sakurai shows up in a clutch moment to kick some butts. Eventually, they're like, Haruka is in the train car that the prince is supposed to be in. And then the prince is taking like a shower in the car that he shares with Takayama, which is when we learn that the prince is actually princess.
Yes.
That was very few people outside of the royal family know.
Haruka didn't even know.
Yeah, Haruka didn't know. But, it's like, okay.
They never really bring it up either after that.
Yeah, it's not really all that important.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, yeah, she's a princess instead of a prince. They do that so there can be another girl out there.
But she doesn't show up after it.
Well, I have a feeling that there's more material.
I guess it is a light novel, so.
Yeah, so there's stuff that's not covered in the anime that may or may not go on further. But they kidnap Haruka. That's like an end of an episode, or maybe the beginning of the next episode. They realize that they get a phone call, and they're like, if you don't give us the prince, we've got her as collateral, basically. You don't want anything to happen to her, type of thing. She's in a suitcase. Yeah. They have her in a big suitcase, which is like, all right.
It's a big suitcase.
It's a big suitcase that we can fit Haruka's caboose, that's for sure.
Ha ha! She knows how to work it.
So, eventually they're like, okay, well, let's disguise Takayama as the prince, because he kind of looks like him, even though he has a different hair color.
Yeah.
But they're like,
we're just baking. They're baking that they don't know what the prince looks like.
Yeah. Or that they can't tell at a distance quite what he looks like. So they dress him up as the prince, and then eventually they round them all up, but they sabotage the controls on the train, so they can't break the train. So they basically uncouple the train from the engine, so the passengers can eventually slow down due to friction. But Sakurai and Takayama stay on the engine, basically on accident, because Sakurai refuses to jump.
Well, she got hurt.
Yeah, she got injured, basically, is why. But she was hiding it. Yeah. But then they get saved when, like, a more powerful engine passes them, then gets on the same track as them, and basically, like, hooks up with them. And you're going back to Unstoppable.
Nope, I won't, I promise.
Something similar happens in Unstoppable, or they try something similar in Unstoppable. But like basically that's how they say. And then you have the scene of Takayama like princess carrying Sakurai because she can't walk with the injury to her leg while he's wearing the prince get up. So it's perfect. It's great. I love it. But that's really the last episode that matters.
Yeah, last episode is what is it?
Ida and Takayama they're returning from like a work trip together, and they get to take this old style weird
dog train.
Yeah, it's just called the dog train because the front of it looks weird. And there's just a bunch of like the air conditioning is not working, and there's a weird rattling sound.
It's just Takayama fixing everything.
Takayama going up to the engine, being like, "Hey," the engineer being like, "Hey,
this is my last day on the job. Don't ruin this for me, kid."
It's like there's this weird thing. It's like, fine, you can look into.
Getting too old for this.
The conductor helps them, and they're like, "Okay, well now we need." It's just like one thing leads to another, and then it's like that's really all that.
Yeah.
That happens. It cuts to Haruka and Sakurai being like, "Why did we both show up to work early today? Is it so that we can greet Takayama?" And there's kind of a little bit of a, them kind of realizing the competition type thing. But that's really the last episode.
It just ends with like everybody at Takayama's house for like a party.
Oh yeah, that's right. They all go party welcome back party. It's like, why are you guys all in my house?
Why are you guys at my house?
Well, it had to happen somewhere,
I guess.
But what are your thoughts on Rail Wars?
I enjoyed Rail Wars.
Yeah, I had a lot more fun with it than I thought I would.
Mm-hmm. It's entertaining. It's not going to be like your top. It's like
it's not a top show, that's for sure. But it's a show I might.
It's just a fun show. If you're looking for something fun to watch, if you like trains, lots and lots of trains.
I think I give it a 7 on my anime list. That's
7.5 for me.
Okay,
7.5.
I didn't want to. I mean, you can only give whole numbers, but
I don't know if
I wouldn't give it an 8.
I don't think
eight's too good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give it an 8, but it was a solid 7. Yeah. I thought about even giving it a 6. I'm like, no, I had fun.
No,
let's be generous.
Yeah, no, it's a fun show. I'd recommend it.
I have a feeling I'm too generous sometimes. I only have like a few shows that I've ever rated like less than 5. It's like, it's a 5. It's okay. But I feel like I don't know that's what everybody does. They try to rate things okay as higher because they think 4 is bad.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean it is, but it's not. It's not as bad as people think it is. But let's go into a segment that may or may not come back up in other shows. I like to call this shows we thought this would be. What did you think this show was going to be about?
Joe Cancer was like a Thomas the Tank Engine war, where it's like warring engines are fighting each other.
That's your ideal.
Like railway supremacy.
If it was that, you'd be laughing your ass off.
Yeah.
At least for the first couple of episodes until it got old.
But like in honesty, I feel like it'd have been more of kind of like there's two like rival schools / like I guess like security teams where it's like they're both
or like train companies
they're
trying to get like
the upper hand or like they're trying to outdo each other. It's like they're
competing for business.
Yeah, stuff like that.
For years I thought Rail Wars was just going to be kind of what we got, but maybe a little less action and more just like day-to-day train operating. I didn't know they'd be a security team.
Okay.
I thought they would be like working on a train actually, and like maybe they'd run into things, and maybe there'd be some
maybe
drama.
A little bit more like comedy.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is the shenanigans we're in. There's a monkey on the loose on the train. There's a bomb threat.
Yeah. I knew there'd be like a little bit of service from that demo video we keep referencing, where it's like, okay, well, there's a butt shot, but
there's a lot of butt shots. Let's be honest.
Yeah, we're watching the show. I think our words were, "Oh, it's one of those shows." It's a little etchy. It's not as much as I thought it was going to be.
No, it's fairly tame.
It's fairly tame. It's a few.
A lot of nudity, like,
but you don't see anything.
Yeah.
Like there are nudity shows where you see things.
Yeah.
This is not one of them. But
and I feel like it wasn't completely forced. It's like, okay, they're talking in like a shower room. That's kind of.
That's or like changing rooms because they have to change into their uniforms. Like, I mean, obviously you could have had that scene outside of the changing room, but it makes sense. It's fine. It's tasteful for the most part.
Yeah, there's only one there's like one untasteful shot. That's about it for me.
But maybe we're just degenerate enough that this seems tasteful to us.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyone normal wouldn't. But then I did like just a slight reading up on it before for going, and I kind of stopped myself because I'm like, whoa, this might get weird. Mm-hmm. Where like I learned like, oh wait a minute, like I saw that there was like a bomb, and then I thought, wait a minute, is there going to be more war? Is there going to be a war going on? And they're like the train supply company during like a battle.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it'd be like two like different factions, like just trying to like outdo each other. It's like,
well, I didn't
maybe not like an actual war, but it's like
I was thinking they would be like we got to get these supplies to Lincoln's troops.
Yeah, it's like, or we're competing for this contract, and we have to get their supplies there first before this rival school. Train station gets there.
You keep saying you're agreeing with me, and then going in a completely different direction.
Oh, sorry.
And my thought, there's still only one train company.
There's got to be two. It's a war. You can't fight yourself.
It's just that they're involved in a war, and they're on the supply chain. Like they're okay. There's like invading forces or something, and they're like, okay, we got to get these rations to the troops, and then you might run into enemy insurgents or something.
Jesus.
But no, that's not what happens.
No.
It's more action than what I originally thought. Less action than when I got that brief glimpse of one episode.
It's kind of like that they did that. I like that there was more action than we were expecting.
That helps sell, I think. It helps. You don't have to do all. It's hard to do romantic. I mean, I've tried to write things before, and first of all, I can't write. Yeah. Second of all, even worse, I cannot write romance. No matter how much I love it, it's like this is going to be tropey garbage if I try to write something. So it's like, okay, if you can throw that in there, that's added drama. You can get people in tense situations. You can kind of like they can bond better because they're in tense situations. So it makes sense that they threw that in there, and it keeps it interesting. And it's not just oops, I fell on your boobs a third time. Like okay, how many times are you gonna do that to how many girls? I've seen a lot of these types of shows. I know how this goes. And then the best girl is not gonna get enough screen time because you're gonna introduce the 12th girl, and it's like, all right. I've seen Tenchi Muyo. I know how these shows go.
I've not seen that.
It's a pretty quintessential harem.
Okay.
And it's got a lot of spin-offs that don't have the main character in them. Some of them have the main character. Some of them will have him in like one episode. Like I think I watched all of Tenchi Muyo GXP, which is okay, but now they're space cops and it's a different character.
That sounds awesome. Space cops?
But they're like, okay, there's just an episode like 17 where the main character of Tenchi Muyo GXP meets the main character of Tenchi Muyo. And it's just like, oh man, you've got a harem of girls too? Crazy life we lead. It's just like, hey, kindred souls.
Kindred souls.
But that's, I'm glad it wasn't that, basically. Everything was kept fairly serious. There's a few tropes like, oh, I fell on you, and now, we're in this weird situation where I'm on top of you or you're on top of me somehow.
That happens in like every show, though.
Not every show, but yeah.
Just about every show.
It's very common. Yeah. So it's just something you get. Yeah. I'm just like, yes, this is happening. I don't even register it anymore. It's like, well, yeah, they just met. Yeah. Obviously, either he's going to be on top of her or there's a panty shot or something that he sees. Like, that's how this works. To be women? How else are they supposed to be embarrassed and then eventually fall for him if he doesn't accidentally sexually harass them? So should we move on from Rail Wars and get into the Ben top 10?
No, we got to do.
Oh yes, we need to discuss Best Girl.
Yes.
So this will be our first disagreement, I think.
I think so.
So I guess we'll put a a poll up a couple of days after the episode.
Maybe.
And then, nobody will vote on it.
Yep.
So let us know if you think Sakurai is the best girl, like me.
Okay.
Or, Ben, you want to promote your girl?
My best girl is Saso.
Okay.
I liked her. She's
She
my
fun.
type.
I liked...
Short hair. Bunch of maid costumes.
Okay.
She's playful, but she's not, like, mean.
Okay, you have to realize that Sakurai also has short hair.
Yeah, but it's different, though.
Not to me.
Say what is it? I agree with you in terms of the show. Sakurai's best girl, but if you're asking me who best girl is, it's Saso. Saso's my favorite.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, like where the show wants you to go and who best girl is are two very different questions.
Okay.
Who wins in the end and who best girl is are two very different questions.
Okay.
Best
girl for me is Saso.
Okay. Best girl for me is Sakurai.
Yeah.
I just like tsunderes, man. I have a...
No, I understand. Trust me, I understand.
It's great.
Just this case, I don't know. Saso just got to me.
Okay. So now we should move into our subcategory here. We do agree on best boy though is Iwaizumi.
Yeah, Iwaizumi needed his own show.
He's great.
What is it? I joked. Iwaizumi is constantly getting hit on when he's not on screen. Like he's just doing the mundane like security thing where it's like making sure everybody's fine and like just there's like older ladies just hitting on him like, excuse me, big old strong man, could you show me where the gift shop is?
Oh, you have to get closer. My eyesight is bad. Get in real close and point it to me. Or,
What?
It's just an excuse to get him closer to him so they can, like, cop a feel on his butt.
It's like, oops, I dropped my purse. Could you pick that up for me?
Yeah. No, that's definitely happening.
Yes.
And he is none the wiser, too.
I mean, he's doing, like, one-arm push-ups just in the break room.
He just wants to know where his next meal is coming from.
Yeah. No, he's a total, I guess, babe.
He's a himbo.
Yeah.
We talked about this. He has no idea that this is happening, and we don't see it on screen, but this is happening.
It's happening.
This is going on. So, best boy is Iwaizumi.
Yes.
Best girl, we'll put up a poll that nobody will vote on. Yes. Or maybe somebody will.
Huh?
Who knows?
Who knows?
We got a follower that doesn't know us on Twitter now. Yeah. They're still from our area because they saw a flyer I put up, but hey, that's something, man.
Yeah.
That's one more than we had before. So then, of course, we now need to move on after we talk about best girl. And we can talk about dib count a little bit.
Okay. There's not a whole lot of dibs, but...
I mean, there's plenty. You just didn't get a whole lot of dibs. You have Saso.
I got Saso, and Haruka, and Iwaizumi.
Iwaizumi, you're right. You do have...
I have Iwaizumi. You keep forgetting I have Iwaizumi.
Yeah. That counts for a lot. But I've got...
You're underrating that dibs.
I've got every other girl. I don't know if any of us did the main character, because why? Why bother?
No.
It's going to hurt me.
It's going to hurt when you desert me.
Weezer reference there.
I Fight Dragons reference there.
Maybe for you. Like, we love both bands, but that is a Weezer song, Ben, that I Fight Dragons covered. Weezer did not cover an I Fight Dragons song yet. Maybe one day. They have, Rivers did help I Fight Dragons write a song that never made it onto an album.
You've told me this.
Yeah, so, I think he wrote like 2 or 3 of them, co-wrote 2 or 3 of them with the lead singer of I Fight Dragons. Mm-hmm. This has been your I Fight Dragons Trivia Hour. I post a link to these episodes on the Discord for them, so, hey, I see you guys.
Boom.
Thanks for listening. If you are. If you're not, I get it. I get it. I want to trust people I don't
listen to this podcast.
I do. I have to edit it. So I have to find where all the audio drops are, which I haven't noticed any. I've been watching the screen pretty off and on here. I actually have it in front of me instead of off to the side. So I think we'll be good. We're using my laptop instead of yours this time, now that mine's finally fixed. So hopefully it works. I say that, and I'm going to be kicking myself editing this weekend. But, We're getting better at this, hopefully.
Yeah, so you have Sakurai, Ida.
Ida's boss, the teacher, whose name was
something
Hitami Gono.
Yeah.
She's great. She's got the big step on me vibes where you're like, yes, please.
The old step on me vibe, yeah.
I would like to be crushed between your thighs, yes. Please asphyxiate me with your thighs. I do not care if I die, for I've experienced
Nirvana.
Okay, so let's move into All Aboard. Okay, so what are your favorite ships this week?
Okay, so I'm gonna go my wild card one. It would be, what was her name? Gono.
Okay.
Gono and Ida. Those two are totally an item.
Okay. That's
I'd ship that.
Yeah, that's good. They're like friends and
yeah.
Not exactly. One of them's not exactly her boss. It's like they're both heads of different security teams. It's just that Gono's is more high profile because it's made of adults and not high school kids on job training.
Those two got something going on.
There's something there.
Yeah.
There's something there.
I'd ship it.
Yeah. I mean, my ship is clearly, I like Takayama and Sakurai as a ship. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there. They get the most ship
basic
time. They get that. That's fine. I'm fine with being basic if it means Sakurai gets to be happy. That's whatever. I just want her to be happy.
Okay.
I want her to admit to her feelings and be happy. I think when I was trying to find what happens in later things, just to see like how things kind of play out, because I'm not going to read the books.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'll watch a second season of the anime. I might read a manga here and there. Very rarely am I going to read a light novel. Yeah. The only light novels I've read are the light novels for Your Name and Weathering with You, because I needed to see if there were any hints in there about what goes on after the end of Your Name. But yeah, what they said, the only thing I could find is that, there's that like stress where she's like, okay, so you're not going to be on the security team and we're not going to be able to, to work together in the future. I think the resolution she comes to is that, when you're a train operator, I'm going to be keeping that train safe. That's her new career goal, is to be keeping the train that Takayama works on safe. So he can still work security, and she can still work with him, and he can fulfill his dream of being a train operator.
Gotcha. She'll be like a train marshal.
Now, if I'm gonna throw out another ship like the one that you had, the off the wall one, which is not really off the wall apparently if you read the books, but I'll go ahead and throw a ship for Sasho and Iwazumi. Okay. I want Iwazumi to be happy too.
Yeah.
Sasho was fun. I like Sasho.
I mean, my best boy and my best girl getting together, I'm okay with that.
I'm happy for him, man.
Yeah.
Who cares if it's not me? I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
Okay, so now are we done talking about Rail Wars?
Yes, we're done talking about Rail Wars.
Okay, so
watch Unstoppable.
If anything else, nothing else, watch Unstoppable. Amazon Jimmy Limited. So let's talk about your top 10 here. We did my number 10 last week was why am I blanking on the name? Ergo Proxy.
Yes.
What is your number 10 favorite anime so far?
Number 10, what I have written down is Samurai Champloo.
Okay.
The Shinichiro Watanabe show.
Yes. Now, is this your favorite Shinichiro Watanabe show?
I would say yes.
Okay. I differ. I like Cowboy Bebop and Space Dandy better, but that's me.
Yeah. So Samurai Champloo was kind of one of my earliest ones.
Yeah.
I think I had watched Cowboy Bebop, but as we both admit, we binged that, and I don't think that's the best way to watch it. So I did not get into it as much as a lot of people do.
Yeah.
So for me, I think I just liked Samurai Champloo's story better because I think it was a little bit more connected. I like the music to it. I think there's a baseball episode.
There's a baseball episode.
But I just felt it kind of connected with me more than the other ones.
Yeah. And then you watched Samurai Champloo by yourself, too.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
That was one of the shows, that and Full Metal Alchemist / Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Did you watch both of those by yourself?
I think so.
This was before.
I know I've watched Brotherhood by myself.
This is before we lived together. I know that much. So,
yeah, but again, it kind of holds a little place in my heart because it is one of the earliest ones I saw, especially by myself.
Yeah, I feel like my top 10 is like, man, these are all things I saw in my formative anime years. Like, some of the stuff that you've added because you just have not seen the sheer amount of
No,
shows
I
that
have
I've
not.
seen. You've seen a lot of the same movies that I've seen.
Mhm.
We watch a lot of anime movies together, but shows, it's harder to get you corralled to watch a show
Yeah.
with me, and I just want to keep watching when you're like at work and things.
Mhm.
So it's hard to get you to watch a full show. But yeah, I feel that same way. It's like, man, it's just like, is it just nostalgia? Are some of these other shows better? But I don't want to kick off, or go proxy from my list. I don't want to say anything else on my list, but I might have already said some of them. Ooh, spoilers! But where do they come, and which ones am I talking about?
It's Space Dandy.
Yeah, it's Space Dandy and Cowboy
They
Bebop.
both are?
I think Cowboy Bebop made the cut. Surely it did. I'd have to look. Surely it did. It's somewhere.
Spoilers for the list.
Yeah, but where is it coming in at?
Ooh.
Yeah, it made the list.
Okay.
It made the list.
It didn't make my list.
That's fine. I knew it wouldn't because you like Samurai Champloo better than it.
Yep.
It's definitely more connected than Cowboy
Mhm.
Bebop, so it makes it easier to watch. It's not super connected though.
No,
it's just
not.
like they have a, hey, this is what we're doing, and then here's our adventures along
Yeah.
the way to find the samurai that smells like sunflowers.
Yeah.
Whereas Cowboy Bebop is like, okay, there's some episodes that kind of hint at stuff past, and they kind of come back towards the end to fruition, but there's a lot of episodes that are just like, okay, this is the standalone episode. It's got nothing to do with the overarching story.
Yeah.
It's not even, like they're on their way to go do something. It's just okay, now we're hunting down this bounty. That's what we're doing this week.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically the wrap on the episode. So let's close it out here. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and tweet at us if you like the show, or you can go comment on the YouTube video that we put up same day as the episode.
What's our Twitter handle?
Our Twitter handle is @anime_territory. I've been trying to tweet things out there. If I have anime opinions, I stop tweeting them on my own Twitter, and I tweet them on that Twitter, and then retweet them on mine so that people actually see them. I don't think you've contributed to the tweets at all.
Nope.
I mean, if you want to, you can just tell me to tweet something and I'll do it. Or
I'll
might
tell you
edit
to
it a
tweet
little
Watch
bit.
Unstoppable.
All right, got it. Noted. Watch Darjeeling Limited. Got it.
Got it.
But we're Anime Territory on YouTube as well. You can like us there. You can subscribe to us there. You can comment, slurs at us if you want. Who cares? It's the internet.
Preferably not. Try to be nice.
Yeah, try to be nice. I mean, you can be mean to me, but
if you know any weird titles for animes, let me know. I'm always looking for.
Yeah, I mean,
Rule
if
of
you've got
Three.
suggestions for weird Rule of 3 things to do, then let's do it. If there's a anime you think we'd like that we've not mentioned, or one that we have mentioned that you want us to cover, let us know. We've got plans for the next 2 episodes, which I guess we should talk about what we're doing next episode.
Yes, so next episode we're going to have a camping special. So we're going to be watching Yuru Camp, also known as Laid Back Camp, Season 1. And then we are going to go camping ourselves and, I guess, compare.
I mean, we'll talk about our own experiences camping there.
Yeah.
We're not recording this on the camping trip, right?
No.
That'd be weird, right?
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah. But we've got some time off from work coming up soon from our day jobs, so we're going to go camping at least a night. We'll see how long you can last. But yeah, so that's what we'll be covering. Something's in the works. We might be having a guest on soon.
Maybe.
We might be having 2 guests on soon if it works out. We might be covering a show longer than 10 to 13 episodes one of these days too.
Oh.
We've got time off work. We've got time to binge.
That's true.
But yeah, just hit us up. We really appreciate the few listens that we get.
Mm-hmm.
I think our last episode was a little bit weaker. I think this one was a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
So let us know what you like, what you don't like. You have a great day.
Yep. See ya. Watch Unstoppable.
Hey, Johnny here with an editor's note. Just finished editing the podcast. No lost audio for once. Hurrah, hurrah. But as a little treat, we started recording our planning sessions. We also started having planning sessions as of this episode. There's a few jokes in there that we thought, hey, let's go ahead and throw those at the end of the episode. So enjoy. It's the most titsy? I don't know.
Did you say titsy?
Ditzy.
Okay. She is titsy.
She's very ditzy. Humans are fucking dead. Leprechauns.
The only thing I wrote for that entire 3 episodes was not expecting leprechauns.
Magic works better the less you want to live.
Imagine that, like, in the real world. It's like, I'm the best basketball player in the world because I want to kill myself.
Shit, the turnaround in the NBA is incredible. They last like a week.
He's having a real bad night. He must be loving life right now.
You know, he just had a kid. He's on top of the world. And unfortunately, at the bottom of the rankings.
Kevin Durant is having a career night. His mom died today. Oh, gee.
Yeah, we gotta bring that up again. You gotta capture lightning in a bottle here.
Well, that's why we're recording.
If need be.
Just take that truck out
at the end, yeah. And put it next to the Titsy bit.
Titsy bit?
Yeah, did you say Titsy? Oh.